feels scary. Cool. I'm Spencer, and I've only known about neurodivergence and my own neurodivergent identities for about 4 years now. So I've been intentionally unmasking for about 3 years. And one of the things I'm finding too is sometimes when I close my eyes, I'm still able to be in connection with you all. As soon as I open my eyes, ooh, that's a lot scarier. It feels way more vulnerable and way more feeling into how much I'm being perceived in the moment, which feels really scary sometimes. So unmasking for me right now means finding a lot more compassion for all my messy, very human parts and bits. For example, today I was convinced this event started at 6 p.m. up until about 7 a.m. this morning, and just told Jenny, oh, yeah, great, I'll see you at 5:45. I'll show up 15 minutes early, and learned that it was 4 hours earlier than I planned. And you know, there's part of me that is so structured routine that I would totally throw my world off, and it does still sometimes. And then there's another part that's like, okay, well, now we're rolling 4 hours earlier. How do I readjust and find a little more grace with myself rather than beat myself up and go down these shame spirals that are so true and still hit me pretty big too of, I fucked that up again, got that time wrong. So I think unmasking right now is how messy can I allow myself to be and be okay with that and comfortable with that. And a big part of that's not just how messy can I be with myself, and I say messy, but authentic. And still show up in community and relationship. And that's the scariest part of how do I still show up with people and trust that we can navigate or figure out and be awkward and weird and uncomfortable and still not die, because that's part of my anxiety of my body's gonna show up and have a panic attack or totally self-implode and be overwhelmed and just literally not want to be here. And so part of that is testing it out and trying to show up and doing little baby steps here and there. Ooh, is that uncomfortable? Yes, and I'm still here. How can I make peace and friends with that fear? A big part of my process in unmasking has been working with natural medicines and psychedelics, and that has been profoundly healing for myself. And I'd say the best way to describe it for me in my process, it's been a return to self and my whole self. The confusing parts, the beautiful parts, the amazing parts, the parts I hate, and the parts I'm learning to love, the parts I still really hate and don't love, and trying to welcome them all back and make space for them and be me and play in that process. Jenny, question check. What am I not hitting that I should go towards next?
What is unmasking? What is unmasking looking like for you currently? What are the joys and what are the challenges?
Oh yeah, okay. So I think the joys, yeah, I feel more in that unmasking process. I feel more myself than ever before. I feel more in love with myself and life and wanting to actually show up and be in a relationship, which for a very long time, I didn't have the capacity to be in any relationship. I was very isolated, very desperate, lonely, depressed in a really profound way. And didn't want to be here anymore. And so part of this process has been finding ways to love those parts too, that protected me and saved me, and how do I find new relationship and connection, which has been amazing. And showing up with other neurodivergent folks in community has been a huge part of that process. So I thank you all for being here too, for all the reasons that bring you to this room, because there's parts that for me just see that and say, oh, there's other people who are in their own process and drawn to show up in community that's like, oh, yes, it's happening. And it gives me a lot more hope and reason and purpose too. And the challenging parts I think are, it's still scary. It's really scary. I find it scary every day to unmask, first and foremost to myself, let alone with other people too. Because it is vulnerable. It's saying, ooh, let me put these parts out that I've worked so hard to try and hide. And I've done brilliantly and been celebrated for it. And let me maybe, and I've made money off of it. I mean, in our system, it's been rewarded in all the different ways. Let me try and be myself more and hope that other people do that as well. And I think a big part of that has been watching other people share themselves authentically and the permission that it grants me then to show up to has been so beautiful. Like, yes, the weirder you are, the more awkward, hell yeah, then I can show up and also be myself. And it's a really cool kind of reciprocal process of like, as we, I think, get to do this dance together, it just, your healing might have nothing to do with me, but it grants me so much support and love and success and all that too. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now. Cool, thank you.